Morning traders, welcome to the Bookmap All Markets Live webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and I am the lead educator here at Bookmap. I've been trading for quite a while, and a variety of markets. I'm the order flow specialist here at Bookmap, and lead the trading education here with expertise in market microstructure and order flow. We'll get into more of that in just a second. I just wanted to remind people that you might want to go over and check out our Bookmap Learning Center because we have many streamers in here all day long, which is just great. We're really happy to offer this to you. And think that you can gain insight from many different styles of trading from these other traders: options, futures, cryptocurrencies, stocks, and all sorts of different styles within each market sector there. All right, so let me show you where you can find out more about that. Go to more here at bookmap.com and then go to the Learning Center here. The Learning Center is where is really the hub here for all sorts of educational materials. There's a quick guide in here, getting started, getting connected to here, getting started, and then joining live free events. Let's click there. It'll scroll you down the page, basically. You'll see all of our streamers in here. This is what I was talking about. We offer all of these. These are our weekly or daily streamers in here, right? We have all sorts of events every day, all day long, basically, right? So you'll find something in here. You'll see, like, for example, the name, what they're trading, and then scroll down a bit more, and this is where you'll find them within the calendar. Okay, so for example, this webinar right now, well, it's right here. Okay. Bruce, all markets. Click on that and you can add this to your calendar. Anyway, great stuff. Really happy to have this Learning Center and calendar and events and all these different traders for you guys. It's a fantastic resource here, and it's all free, which is crazy. I really challenge you to go out there and take a look at other products out there and see if they offer this kind of quality and quantity of education. All right, so enough said on that. Yeah, you can reach me on our Discord channel. We have a very robust community over in Discord. So yeah, please go check it out. Thanks, Rob. I see that you've put the streaming list in there. Yeah, you can see this is a weekly email that goes out to everybody, and you'll see all of the different traders in here. All right, so anyway, look for it on Sundays. All right, and it will come to all of you guys. Let's just go through the disclosures and then we'll get started here. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in and take a look at the markets. Again, this is for all markets, so you guys let me know what you want to look at. Good morning, BBM. Yeah, so we can look at some stocks, cryptocurrencies. It doesn't matter. Crypto has been on fire yet again, so I don't see much happening today, but it's had some really nice moves. And I don't know about you guys, any of you crypto traders over there, it was well telegraphed in advance in Bookmap. There was just massive buying coming in, and at higher highs, and then pullbacks were pretty low volume. And then more buying volume again, and then just really, really nice moves to the upside. In fact, if you're interested in that, there is a web product from Bookmap, and it will show crypto markets here. So and just go to, you'll find it from our website, but you can also look at web.bookmap.com and it'll bring this up here. Right, and you can actually go back 1 month here in these cryptocurrencies, and you can see it's loading a month of data within the window here. This move here, this huge move here, okay, crazy move. I mean, really nice to see. You could see it starting down here with the volume. This is, I think, when we started to see it, and then it just accelerated at this point. Right, so, or maybe I think we were actually here at this point and started to see this move. Yeah, anyway, you can zoom in and look at some of those details here in Bookmap web version if you want, but beautiful move here to the upside. All right, okay, so that was crypto markets. Let's jump back to the ES and take a look here. And yep, yeah, thanks. Yeah, repeat and trader. Let me trade live. Okay, yeah, if you have any questions, there's all sorts of Discord channels in here. Up to you. So all right, we'll jump in here and start to go through the order flow now. All right, so it's been enough blah blah. I did need to go through some of that though, so you guys are aware of some of the things that are upcoming. All right. Okay, well, yeah, let's see ES here. We can see the cash open. Nice move to the upside. Pull back here, and again, continuation of the move here. We usually see during this webinar, the beginning of it at least, this continuation. Right, here's 10 o'clock here when the webinar started, and you can see a pullback and a continuation of the move. All right, so we continue to look for this until we see something different. But I'm going to go over support and resistance today in more detail. I think you guys will find it helpful. Let's take a look here at, hold on. Okay. Let's take a look here at the higher time frame, right? We're going to drill down from higher time frame to lower time frame. And we're basically going to be using the same process for all of them. All right, so we talked about this move to the upside on the daily here that we had covered in detail, looking for this momentum to unfold, and boy, did it ever. And then here we have, that's the daily on the left hand side. In the middle here we have the hourly, and then on the right we have the 15-minute. Okay, so we were actually looking for pullbacks in here into these wicks. This was, I think, back on Tuesday here. I thought we'd get it on Tuesday because we have a few down days here. And I was looking for this to continue on down into these wicks. It didn't. We got kind of a bit of back and forth here, and we're getting it now, though. We're getting it today. This was the move we were kind of looking for. And I'm really curious how today is going to close. Right? We can see this is a pretty big red candle already. It has tested below yesterday's low, and it has come back up, and we're basically at yesterday's low. So the question here is, are we going to get continued momentum on this chart? Okay, let's make this bigger here. Are we going to continue on lower and then retest these lows? Are we going to find support down here at around this 4380 level? And this is where I really want to focus and pay some attention. Okay. So that's what we're seeing on the daily chart. Now, I imagine we're going to, find some back and forth in here, to be honest. That's what I'm kind of looking for. So it'll probably test below here and then swing back up and close kind of in one of the scenarios that'll kind of close back in the range somehow. And not really give us too much insight. All right, so that's probably the most common scenario. Most likely scenario for today, end of the day. But you know, in the meantime, we want to understand the different, the other different scenarios in here. So for example, we may come down here and see continued momentum and have a big down day. That may go down into like 43.50 or you know, 4300. I mean, that's a pretty bit of a stretch, but it's possible. Anything's possible in these markets, right? So anyway, or maybe we're going to find a lot of support down here. And then we're going to move back up in here. So anyway, that's what we're kind of thinking about here on the daily chart. And now let's move over to the hourly chart here, and we see all sorts of gaps in here. Very gappy. Beautiful gap back here on I don't know what day this was, July 10th maybe, or 11th. Anyway, beautiful gap here, and we see some pullbacks into the gap. That was about it though, and then a continuation to the upside. Now we are coming back and exploring this gap here again, right? So we can see, you can see we opened up here on the hourly, went down, tested here the low of this period here. Okay, this was at 2 p.m. And I guess that was July 13th. And then we're seeing a reaction here. We're seeing buyers starting to come in. Okay, so now the question is, let's look over on the 15-minute chart. Are we just going to come up to test into the gap a little bit more above the swing high here at 43.97? Maybe get up to, you know, 4,400, and then that's it. And then roll back over and then get that continued move to the downside. So I'm going through different scenarios in here. The gap is huge here, or not as big as this one on the hourly, but the gap's pretty big. Okay, so are we going to come back up and try to fill the gap today? Maybe. You know, we don't know. Are we? This is what we want to look at this area here in Bookmap. Is there a lot of support here at 43.83? And a lot of demand is what we're looking for, and we're looking for that to continue, and then get this move back up into these ranges up in here, and maybe fill the gap. All right, so far so good. Momentum looks pretty good. Here's our retest right now. Now we've covered this many times in the order flow, and what we're looking for. We have a move here, and now we're having a retest of this move here. This is where we want to get insight. Okay, so let's jump over to Bookmap, and let's take a look here. It's looking pretty good to me. I see the book here on the bid. I see a lot of liquidity up here around 4,400, but I see buyers up here too. So I'm looking for it. I'm looking for the continuation up into these areas here. All right, just due to the behavior that we see in the aggressors and in the order book. Okay, see how they're underneath here at a higher level. We're getting our buyers in here, and then there is this kind of wall of liquidity here, but we're looking for the buyers to trade into that liquidity right now. This is where you can. This is our resistance, and this is our supply up here. Right now you can see what's happening right now. And this is why these swings happen here. This is, I want to cover why these things happen here. This is looking good, and then we just don't have enough here. Now when we zoom into the microstructural areas in here, now we can start to see a little more clarity. This was the retest here, one tick higher on the offer, and nothing traded up there. Okay, so I'm sorry, some did trade up here. 186 contracts traded up here previously. Here, not one. Okay, on that previous swing. All right, so that's telling us something there. I'm looking for it. I see buyers up here, and then here's the microstructure. What is it telling us? It's telling us that no, there is no demand here. So as soon as that is read in here, not only there's a bunch of machines, but other traders thinking, okay, Well, this is going to be trap volume. They're looking for that breakout. We can drive it back down into kind of like a mean reversion trade, basically. I don't know if we're going to get down to the the point of control here. I would imagine we're going to at least test this swing and maybe this swing here. And that's what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for the continuation here for these sellers now to just go below the swing here and then maybe get a nice stop run down into this swing or maybe even below that swing. Okay, so I'm looking for the sellers to continue now. All right, now that our mind switched up and we have to be nimble here, right? That this is our exhaustion here. The market tried. It's looking pretty good. We got buyers, we got buyers, we got buyers. The book looks pretty good. It was supporting it underneath here. It looked better when we zoomed out. And we saw the, bidding up a little bit underneath here. This looks good. We got the pieces here. We didn't get the main piece, the most important piece, okay, is the aggressor. All right, they failed up here. And this pattern failed here. Now this is why, like a cup and handle pattern, which this is, okay, or I don't know, whatever pattern you want it to be. It doesn't really matter. Double top, quadruple top. The important part is understanding here in the dynamics and what's going on, right? So and we can still get this move up higher here, no problem. We've seen this so many times over that the market just doesn't have enough buying pressure. Okay, sellers come in. They'll bring this market down into swings and areas where it's a high volume node. And let's define what a high volume node is. It is simply a lot of trading. Okay, it is an average overall. We can look at the, let's look at, we've got a couple different volume columns in here. I'm going to add one more. We've got a delta volume column, and I want to configure the non-delta column. So this is a composite column here of buyers and sellers. This one here is buyers minus sellers. Okay, so and we did trade down to in this small range. This is the chart range volume profile. Okay, so we did trade down to the high volume node here, and we see now we're getting some support, right? So these are ways to look at where this might go. Okay, and the first test was here. Okay, and it did that already, and we're finding buyers now. Okay, so now we're back to this scenario. There is transactions up here. There are transactions up here. We're looking for more transactions up here. Here is our retest. So let's see, do we get more transactions? Is the book going to go, are they going to pull on the offer? Are they going to add on the bid? Getting transactions, not much. So we're looking for really big transactions. It's going to move this market and take on this liquidity. Okay, no, not yet. Looking for more. Now, if we do get the transactions up here, it looks much better and more probable for the move higher. And you can see we didn't get them. We read it here in real time, and now we're seeing the sellers bring it back down. Okay, where are they going to move it to? Well, this is a good spot right here already. And it's not because price is there. It's just this is where we see buyers come in and move the market. Okay, otherwise here, where they moved it here. And let's see if we get some support here. And that's going to bring us into what I wanted to talk about today, which is support and resistance and why these things work. Right? So now in hindsight, this is easy. Why this worked. We did it in real time here, but like in hindsight, it's much easier. we can see that there's not a whole, this is pretty good buying here, but this just isn't enough. Now support and resistance area. So this is a support area. Okay, let's take the heat map off or dim it here and draw up a support area here. Okay, this is what is considered or defined as support. Okay, this is resistance up here. Okay, and now support and resistance, I define it differently, and try to be more objective and precise with these definitions. Okay, so you know, you may say potato, I say potato. Whatever, it doesn't. I don't really care. What I care about is understanding the price action here, and then I'm equating that to support and resistance. The price action is telling us that we are not finding transactions into this, below this area here, or into this area here. Okay, very few transactions. Okay, so that's support basically. Now the question is it demand though? Okay, and demand would be shown in the order book. Okay, we don't really have demand here. All right, so now do we have sellers though? Now do we have supply? Now I'm going to talk about supply and demand here a little differently as well. Demand is also the aggressors. They want they want to buy, or they are buying. Okay, now we're starting to see them come in here. So okay, so this is acting as support, but I don't see demand here until up here. Okay, now is it enough to bring it back up into the resistance, the bigger picture resistance up here? Okay, well, let's see on this retest here. Yeah, I think there is. Okay, so now let's see if we can get enough in this micro range here. All right, so there are some transactions in here. We're looking for the buyers here, and then to break the range. Okay, it would be a breakout. All right, and then the breakout would continue on up to the top of the range. All right, so we're breaking down this kind of bigger picture move here, and this back and forth in here. And we're talking about supply, demand, support, and resistance, and what we're looking for a scenario to play out. Okay, now you can see we're still just chopping back and forth within this range here. All right, so we found some transactions up here, and the verdict's not out yet. Okay, we don't know quite yet. Here they are, buyers. Okay, this looks like there is enough buying pressure here now to move it back up. Okay, I am looking for a breakout here. Okay, up into just this here where the sellers came in. So just 95.50. All right, just up to here. That's all for the first target. All right, now we're doing this a little differently today than we normally do. And this is what I wanted to cover in this support and resistance here. All right, so our target has been achieved already. Okay, at least leg one of it. Now I would do a scale out up here. Now this was not a trade recommendation. I'm just covering how a possible how to consider managing a possible scenario here. Okay, now the reason I would scale out one or half or a percentage of my position here it's been pretty range bound. I don't know if we're going to get a bunch up here. Okay, that's part one. But why wouldn't I get all out if it's like really back and forth in here? Any questions? What do you think? What do you guys think? I'll put it to you guys. Slow down, Hector, Trader, and over in YouTube land as well. Okay, why would I not take a full profit up here? all in, all out. Stop loss would be down here, BBM. Okay, I would put it down below the swing, and I would move it up pretty quick. I'm sorry. So if I'm getting in here, yeah, I would actually have it a bit lower. I'm looking for this to move now. All right, so I like to put it in the smaller range here, very tight stop. If it doesn't work now, I'll get stopped out for a point, and I don't want though to go 2 points. I don't want to go 4 points. Okay, now we just had a webinar earlier with Moby. He's on the calendar now. He streams Wednesdays and Fridays at 8 a.m. East Coast time. And he's an expert in the London session. So you might want to check out some of this. He was talking about risk and reward and, in terms of 1R, 2R, 3R, whatever. Okay, so what this would have been here, let's talk about the trade management. So this would have been, got it? We would have been in here, right? All right, so stop would be about there. All right. And let's now take the same here. This would be 1R, right? We actually went a little bit more. We were looking for 95.5, so just a little bit more. Okay, that's it. And then on something like this, on this trade here, I would manage it. This is more of a range-bound activity in here. I would manage it differently. All right, what I would do is I would have my stop at break even +1. All right, and I would have been stopped out on the remainder of this position. Okay, and I would look for another opportunity to get in. All right, so that would have been my decision. All right, so it's basically a little more than 1R, but it's what I'm looking for. Now it traded up to the top of the range here, basically. Okay, I don't think I would have gotten filled up here. I would have gotten filled a couple ticks lower, though. This is one of the reasons why I also like to front run high liquidity. Anyway, that's a detail. What I want to talk about is the risk rewards in here. You can see this stop wouldn't have been hit yet either. Okay, so this is another way that you could manage it, but it's up to you. If you took profit here, so it's actually your profit would have been taken here, right? If you took partial profit here and put your stop at break even, you would still be in it. If you got stopped out, you would have made nothing on it. Okay, or maybe 1 tick, because we did actually have 1R plus 1 tick. Right, so if your stop was purely at the 1R, it would be down here, one tick lower, right? And you would still be in this. Now, the reason that I wouldn't be in it is I'm looking for this to work now, and I'm also looking for our original move in here. We have a reason for thinking that this might come up and trade into this liquidity here. Okay, that would be because the trend is up and we're seeing transactions by buyers up in this range up here, especially up in here, covered. So that would be my reasoning. And this is the after seeing this volume here, this is our 1 and 2, our second attempt up here. I'm looking for it to break out. And I am going with the momentum and with the trend of the bigger picture, which is this. Okay, we didn't know. We thought that if we can get them up here another time, we'd likely break this and come back up into these areas here. Okay, and partially fill this gap at some percentage somehow. So we are set up here to take a little bit out, reduce the risk, manage the risk, make a little bit of money, but then hold for a bigger move, right? Due to the factors that we just mentioned. That's it. Are any questions on that? And now this is just, it's not a a trade recommendation is just one way to look at it. There are so many ways to slice and dice your trading strategies and your trading management. So these are just some concepts, and I like saying this now. I've said this for several weeks now. This webinar here is to present ideas. Now, your job is to understand these ideas and go back and prove me wrong. Or see if this works for you. If you like it, does it fit your way of trading? If it doesn't, that's fine. We have, like I said, a calendar full of event after event every day with different traders. And then look at some of their ideas and concepts of reading the order flow in here. You should be able to find something that should help you. All right. Okay, so let's continue on and go back to support and resistance in here. We'd be flat right now, right? Now, one of the things in here that about support and resistance that I want to talk about, and I know this is a little bit of hindsight in here, and I don't like to do hindsight, but to make this point, I will need to. Okay, so up here is our resistance, but we don't really see supply up here, right? In fact, we're starting to see demand up here. So yeah, I'm looking for the breakout, right? And down here, do we see a demand in the order book here? That's what I mean by demand, and supply I mean by orders in here. The supply is up a little bit higher. I'm looking for it. The buyers here, the aggressors, to trade into it. Okay, now we might get our move now, right? Is this something that I'd be interested in? Not really. I mean, I see it starting to pick up here, but it's just not enough here. And I would have to buy up here. Well, if it looks good, then yes, I would. But because again, we're looking for it to work right now, right? By reading the behavior in here, we're looking for this to work out right now. And now it might, but is it really telling me, like hitting me over the head here? It's looking better and better, but still we don't have like this really easy read in here. I'm still looking for it to trade. I've been looking for it to trade on all of these retests here. Okay? And I am seeing, look at the buying now, look at the delta, and look at the buying up here at this swing. This is good. Okay? We're looking for more buyers though, a little bit more, and I'm also looking for the order book here to help. And I want to see demand on the bid, and I want to see supply pulled here. All right, so here's our move now. Now you can see the demand coming in on the order book after the move though. All right, so I would have missed this, right, based off of that. This just wasn't, enough here for me. All right, now maybe it is for you. So we can cover that here. You just have to, if it is, that's fine. Let me show you one way to look at this here. Okay, I don't know if McLoco's in here, but CVD, okay, is another way to look at this in here. Boy, actually CVD is pretty funny read in here. We're actually seeing more sellers, and then the buying in here in CVD is not helping us actually for this move higher into this liquidity. I was hoping that we'd see some really big divergence in here in CVD. There is some divergence here between this swing and this swing, okay, but it's more selling. All right, and why? And I'm going over CVD. We're trying to get some insight in this little area in here, and we didn't see it in real time. We kind of did see it, but it just wasn't hitting us over the head, and we're looking for that, right? Or at least I'm looking for that. So I don't want to get caught up in a trade here and then have it immediately go against me and push into my stop into these areas, and they even possibly get slipped down to these areas here. So I can turn like what was a small winner into a negative day pretty quickly, right? So instead I stayed away from it. All right. So yeah, I was hoping that CVD would give us more additional insight, that there would be like, wow, some really nice divergence in here that looks like tons of buyers are in here. And I know that there's more in this little range in here. I know there's more buying pressure, or in this whole range in here. I know there's more buying pressure, and I would look for. Okay. So that's another way to maybe add into the quiver here for additional insight, right? We can also look at stops and icebergs. It's a beautiful stop run here. And then a lot of icebergs on the other side. Nice context here between larger players using icebergs and smaller players getting stopped out in here. Right? So let me get to some questions here, and we'll continue on with supply and demand and support and resistance. AC delta VP showing yeah, green in that range. That's true, which is nice, really nice. Yeah, this is looking really good here with the cumulative volume. I'm sorry, the chart range volume pressure here, chart range volume profile here on the buy side. See how the delta here? Look at these two columns. See how the delta is telling us that, but the composite is not. Right? Be careful with this though. Okay? You really want to understand and back test, and you want to be able to trust these things. So again, just posing the idea here, or posing the idea or concept here, to maybe you want to look at that. I think that's a good read there, AC. Okay, then you're looking for these guys to still be in control, and these guys down here to be out of control, and then stopped. Okay, which is probably what is happening. Okay, because we do know there's a pretty big stop run. Yeah, supply is at the top. Yeah, supply and resistance is at the top. I don't know if I said it differently, but my apologies if I did. Okay, demand and support is down here. Okay, Deborah, I answered your question. How to stop frustration from getting losses over the years and start consistent. Okay, Garrick, I would say like get really good at your losses. Okay, so don't look at when you go through these scenarios in here. Okay, we're looking for this scenario to play out. Think about it not playing out. And then you've got to be disciplined to hold to that. So this is why there's just two things that you need to do as a trader. One is you need to know you have an edge. That comes through experience and back testing. When do you have an edge in the market? When do you know players in the order flow here are telling us something, or they're positioned in a way that they're going to feel the pain, and you're looking for that scenario to play out. Okay, and then basically you will be squeezing them. Right, so that's the first thing, is to look for or build an edge. You have to have an edge. Okay? Even if it's 51%, it's an edge. At least you've addressed it. Number two, within that edge, no matter how good that edge is, I could give you, an edge, and just say like, yeah, just trade this. Right? And you'll still lose money. And I'm just saying this in general, not you in particular, but people in particular. And the reason that they do is because they don't manage the trade right. So number one is you have to have an edge. Number two is you have to manage your edge correctly. Okay. So this is what I would recommend, Garrick. And so actually, you're going to flip your once you know that you have an edge, you're going to flip it upside down, and you're going to. It's not about the trading the looking for the profits. It's about how to manage this, how to manage the losses. Okay, because if you got in on this, for example, in this move to the upside in here, then you're sitting pretty right now. And now you want to also it's really important as well, extremely important is, and I think we don't talk about this too much, is managing your winners. It's extremely important. Okay, but the first one, and it's the hardest one, is to manage your losers, because no one wants to lose. And then what we've talked about trader psychology in here, and we've been talking about well, basically I've been saying I just think that there's so much mis and disinformation out there on trader psychology. In my opinion, I think it's an industry in itself, and I think people just get ripped off left and right. And they love to listen to it in general, because I don't know, it maybe makes it trading more humane somehow or something. I don't know. However, what it boils down to is this: can you manage your trade? No matter what your mindset is, can you manage your trade? Doesn't matter if your dog's sick, or you argued with your wife, or you woke up with a hangover. Who cares? If you have a really bad hangover, can you still manage your trade? Right? So that's the question. And the other part, that's the first question, or first part of it, about trade management and psychology. The second part is how do you manage these different scenarios of missing it, of scaling out, or having it go against you, and this plays with your mind. And I would just like to propose this, and Deborah, I hope this helps you, because you'd said, oh, my entries are in just the wrong position. And first off, I think we've shown many times, like, you can still be like in just horrible trade management, or horrible entries, but because of the behavior in here, you're looking for this to work out, right? So that's the edge part. And you'd be getting at the top of the range in here. That's horrible, right? But we're looking for it to work right then and there. Now, I'm not advocating. It sounds like you don't have good luck with this, and it's not your style. That's great. Okay, then don't take this trade. Don't, this is not for you. Maybe yours is to get in down here. Now there's a whole other risk parameter to that, though, that you'll have to really digest, because you don't know this is going to happen yet. This is why I like it, that I know once I see this, I believe that there is a higher probability this will happen. Okay, and that's my edge. Right down here, I just don't know what's going to happen. Right now, maybe you do some back testing and you find out like 90% of the time it will trade back into at least the point of control or high volume node of this range in here. Hey, great. If that's your stat, then great. You can add in here, scale in here at these areas, and try to trade it, take some off at the point of control and hold the rest for a runner. There's just, like I said, there's so many ways to slice and dice it. So anyway, the trade management part and the psychology part that I'm talking about here is how it screws with your head of like, oh God, it worked out that time. Well, I'm not going to let that happen again. I'm going to hold it regardless because it's got to go up. Then you start really messing up with your scaling in or not scaling out or whatever it is. And now you've taken maybe a high probability setup and you've made it into low probability, or you've made it into a losing strategy basically. Okay, so yeah, I think the mindset has to be about like, how am I going to manage that loser? Because you probably hear a lot of traders say, oh, the winners manage themselves. Well, not on the smaller time frame. I wouldn't say that. If you're an investor, yeah, sure, yeah, they may go on for months, you know, uh, that trade setup. The winners take care of themselves. No, I think you got to manage your winners. It's really important, but the most important thing is to manage the losers. Okay. Now, what we've been talking about in terms of trader psychology is keeping it very, very simple. Is to you want clarity of mind. Okay, the easiest way to get clarity for most people is to exit the trade. You have a much clearer mind when you don't have a trade on. Okay, I learned this from a bank trader, and it was really great to hear. Right, so if you don't know and it's not doing what you want, hold on to your stop, or even if you may even like, I wouldn't advocate exiting it, maybe, but to begin with, if it's not working out. But I don't know. Look, the point is clarity of mind, and here's what you're looking for, and it should work. If it doesn't, then it didn't work this time. It's as simple as that. It will likely work the next time. All right. So just exit the trade and look for the next setup. Okay. Trade in demo and then trade with micros. Again, not trade recommendations in here, but find your way of doing this. One thing I would recommend highly is record your data in here in Bookmap and then go replay that file over and over again. Right, just how we we're looking in here and we said like, yes, this should work, and then we avoided this one here. It should work. We mentioned that here. It's showing it pretty nicely here, I think. Maybe we can show it a little bit better. We said like, yeah, we're getting our buyers in here. It's just not that convincing in here. Okay, and we do have a little bit of a skew in the book here. Here's our skew, right? Pulling up here, adding here. Okay? We just didn't have quite enough aggressors in here for this to pan out. And that's why I jumped in. I said, okay, well, maybe cumulative volume delta will tell us there are more aggressors in here. It didn't either. And you can see that this is failing here as well. So now you can start to put this in together and learn from what we just covered in context here. Well, this wasn't that strong of a breakout, was it? It broke out, but it wasn't that strong. Okay, so you can also look for a failure up here, and it was starting to look pretty good. And I thought the figure would test up here. Okay, but look where the sellers came in here, below where they bought here, right? So we're getting the players are telling us something else in here. Okay, and then here's the follow through move to the downside. So now we can relate this again to trade management, and I can see we're talking more about trade management than supply and demand or support and resistance, which is fine. So the other side, we mentioned controlling the losses, and looking for the winners to run. However, this is why I think it is important, just to begin with, is to have targets for your winners as well. All right, so now that you can manage your winners in a multiple ways as well. Managing winners can be really hard for a lot of people. When do you get out? How do you get the most out of your trade? Well, there's a few different ways of doing it. Well, there are many different ways of doing it. One is maybe you're just looking for a target to be achieved into high liquidity, okay, like we were. Maybe you're looking for here the bigger trend day to unfold here, right? Look at how wicked this is going to be on this chart here, right, on the 15-minute. Okay, because we are getting our buyers coming in here, right? And we said that this partial gap fill in these little areas in here, okay, look pretty good. Well, they're telling us, yeah, it was the right area in here. This is really wicked in here. It was a stop run, and then there's no more demand in here. Okay, we saw the supply by the aggressors, them coming in hand over fist. We saw the supply here as well, and they stayed in the order book up here. So there's another setup here on a higher time frame. Looking for that, you would be looking for your sellers to come in and then move this market low and continue, to be honest here. Okay, so it's come down to this swing here already and tested it. Let's see if we can get enough sellers to come back down into this area here, lows of the day. Okay, it's pretty strong momentum here on the sell side. Anyway, going back to the trade management here is, and I wouldn't, yeah, you want to control your risk rewards. Like Moby was covering, at least, get your 1-to-1, maybe 2-to-1, 3-to-1, etc. But you definitely want the overall on your setup. You've got a higher probability setup, okay, that you have to have, and then look at the management of risk reward, and then try to be as consistent as you can to that. Now, that can be tricky. Okay, sometimes you give a little bit more on the risk, sometimes you give a little more on the reward part. The more consistent you are, the better. Okay, so that's why we go over a few different ways of managing it, and it's up to you. Okay, but you want consistency, and taking partial profits and then full profits at your targets, and at that point, look for the next setup. Okay, again, that clarity of mind, that you got one. Okay, this might have run way up to 44.08. We don't know. We don't know. It might have filled the gap. It's pretty strong buying in here. But that's why we go through the other scenario in here. However, let's suppose you got in, got out up here, and then you look for the next setup. Your clarity of mind, you can now, you have clarity here that you're freed up. You can take this position and go short if you want. Okay, because now you don't have a bias. If you're still in this on the buy side, would you reverse and get in and go short? That's pretty hard to do. Right, so yeah, anyway, I think that would be very helpful for your clarity of just and then that would there are your pitfalls of revenge trading, of holding on to losers, adding into losers, not moving your stops, etc. Fear of missing out. All of these pitfalls, you won't even have to deal with them, because you look for something, it did it, you move on to the next one, and you repeat. All right, that's a lot of wind. Let me answer some questions in here. So Garrick, I hope that answers your question in more detail. And we'll start over here with the guys over in Discord. At some point, can we take a look at NQ? Sure, slow down. No problem. Yeah, we just covered this, Hector, the two CVPs, chart range volume profiles. One is a delta, buy minus sell. The other one is a composite of buyers and sellers here. There's a lot of different features in here, guys. So you play around with it. You can do all sorts of resets in here. And then there's also configurations in here. You can split out the data in buyers versus sellers, right? You can even, show the buyers and sellers in delta this way, split out. I don't think it's very helpful, but it's up to you. And try to, gain some insight. And it was AC that had mentioned that he had showed a bit of an edge in here with the buying delta up here. This is something to look at here, because look at this profile here. It doesn't tell us much at all. This is showing a weak top up here in this chart, and that's what we were looking at, and directly in here. And this is what we're looking for that move higher, was that weak top, and the CVP column in delta. Okay, again, it's all you have to do is check this box, right? And you'll see the delta. And if you want more information on that, okay, just go to our learning center. Let me show you where. And you can go to the Getting Started course here. And then there's all sorts of videos in here. Go to the columns section in here. We have one on volume delta right here. The volume column, the volume delta column. All right. That should do the trick for you. All right, so it's really back and forth, guys. We were looking for this. We still might get the continuation of the move lower here. We'll talk about the market structure in just a second. Let me continue on with your questions, though. We might get it. I don't know. It's really, I'm seeing a lot of buy volume come in here too, so I'm going to hold off on that. But we'll come back and revisit in just a second. And Garrick, just to note in here, like, yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions. I did want to cover some of this trade management and the psychology behind it as well, or denounce the psychology and just try to keep things clear and simple in your mind, and that's your psychology, right? So you know what you're doing regardless of your mental state. As long as you know what you're doing, it doesn't matter, right? You could have had a relative pass away. As long as you're clear in your mind on how you're going to manage it, you're good to go. So enough said on that, I think. We're here for the live action, though, and the live analysis. All right, looking for these scenarios to play out by reading the behavior here of the players taking part in the auction. All right, so let's continue on here. See, BBM, your question really is if I see resistance at those supply levels and would try to short. No, you need more than just that. That's what it's not enough. So yeah, you're looking for the behavior. That's just one behavior. Okay, we're looking for like a host of behaviors in here. Okay, we go through the scenarios all the time. What we're looking for example, is not only in a range the aggressors at the top of a range in here, or here's the bottom down here, and we went through this scenario here. So we're looking for our aggressors, we're looking for the book to help, and we're looking for them to trade it just up to here where the sellers came in and moved it lower, right? That's it. And maybe it'll come up to the top of the range too. Okay, so it's a host of things. Number one is we're at the bottom of the bigger range. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen down here. Okay, so let's suppose I think BBM, what you're talking about is, oh, I see that there's order book here, down here. Now, what's the condition of that order book? Well, not very good actually. They're pulling that they're showing liquidity in here, but when price comes down, they're actually pulling it. That's not really good. We want to see them stay in the order book and get filled, and then we want to see it absorbed. Okay, we would look for absorption. There's at the bottom of the range. What are you looking for? Absorption. That could be one of the scenarios, or exhaustion by the sell side. We're basically getting some exhaustion here on the sell side at the bottom here. That's what's happening. Okay, we're looking for that. Put that into the checkbox, right? Or check that box. Now we're looking for buyers to come back in and trade back up at the top of this range, and then bring it back up to, our areas here, where sellers came in, or where there is supply up here. Okay, you need more than just the heat map. You need the price structure, the back and forth here with best bid and offer, and the volume within it to also help you. Okay, and then we read in here, hey, what was happening. We got our aggressors, and we had a little bit of help here in the order book, and they're starting to pull some of that liquidity on the offer. Therefore, we're looking for our higher likelihood to move up into at least where these sellers came in and drove this market lower. Okay, maybe to the top. Maybe it would come up to here, right? But that would be your higher likelihood for the move. All right. So I hope that answers your question. Just stay in here. It's a great question, and we'll continue to answer it again and again and again. Maybe you're looking at an indicator. McLoco looks at cumulative volume delta. Others are looking at stops and icebergs. This is an incredible indicator, or I hate to even call it an indicator. It's just what's happening in the market. It's buyers and sellers here, but we're knowing what types of buyers and sellers in here, okay, or what types of orders, and then we're taking that further. Who's using these types of orders? Well, who's using a iceberg in here? Every time I ask that, I never hear anyone, seriously answer that they are using icebergs, right? So it's larger players. They're going to be using an iceberg order because they don't want to show their liquidity in the order book. Right? Do we see a lot of iceberg buying here? No, we do here though, obviously. Okay? So you could look for some exhaustion here, but the other side of the trade, the buyers, they need to lift that market. If there's not demand by the aggressors, price isn't going to move. We need them. Okay? We need the order book as well. Now we have something higher probability. So it's not just one element. It's like 3 or more elements that we're looking for in here. Okay, I hope that helps. And we will continue to go through these scenarios again and again to help answer that question for you. Long-winded today. Sorry, guys. I mean, like usually I love to spend the time directly on the price action and go through that. But I want to answer your guys' questions here. How to save your chart, Arthur? Yeah, sure. Again, knowledge learning center. Let me show you where. Okay, so learning center, Bookmap Learning Center, bookmap.com, learning-center, and then go to getting started course, and then saving configurations down here. Click on that. Inherit chart settings, saving your workspace, saving a screenshot. Okay. Yeah, hit that learning center, guys. We put all these videos, like 50 videos in there that talks about how to use Bookmap. Let's see, Abby, you have a question in. Been trading heat map, filtered mostly only for larger liquidity. That's fine. That's great. removes a lot of the noise. Uh, oh, great! I'm glad that that helps you. Yeah, there, you know, I'm just showing the defaults in here, and I'm zooming in and out quite a bit. But you know, this is where again I'm going through as many scenarios as possible in here. So no matter what time frame you guys are trading, this can be helpful maybe for you. Because it's the same setups on this chart on this time frame. It's the same setups on this time frame, and it is the same setups on this time frame on the daily. It's the same thing in my mind, and that's the way I look at it in the order flow. It's all order flow in my mind. It's the auction, and it's the actions of participants. We do, James, we offer so many different add-ons. Why don't we offer more for the global package so that you can get the global plus package, basically. That's why. Or what you can do, James, is you can get the global package and maybe you want MBO add-ons. That's great. You can do that. So you can spend $50 on Bookmap Global, then it's 134 for the MBO bundle. Okay, so you would save $50. Maybe you're only interested in that, right? So you have that flexibility. Or maybe you just want the Market Pulse, new Market Pulse tool. So get global and then get Market Pulse, and you'll save yourself $50 by not getting Global Plus and add-ons that you may not need. That's why. No, global has a tremendous amount of worth and offers more flexibility. The beauty in Global Plus, well, we continue to add more functionality to both, but you know, we want to be supportive of the Global Plus guys. You know, they're paying more, and we don't want to raise the price. We just want to give more value to it. So we've added a lot more indicators to the Global Plus package. So it's up to you, James, whatever it is that you're looking for. Right? Maybe if you're just trading crypto, that's the cheapest of all. I think it's $20 a month, and that's the Digital Plus package, and the data is free. So it's $20 a month. But if you want, you know, more, maybe you want to get Market Pulse tool for Digital Plus and crypto. Well, you can do that. That's another $17 a month, I believe. Okay, yeah, thanks, Alois. That helps with yeah, and that's you're answering the question on MBO bundle. You need to have rhythmic data, that's for sure. Yep, for futures. It only works on the stops and icebergs, and MBO bundle only works on futures, CME group futures only, and you need to have rhythmic data as well. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, you can trade from the chart. You cannot trade from the chart with global. That's one of the other drawbacks, and we do that on purpose so that you know, a lot of people just, what they're doing is like they're hanging out, they're looking at Bookmap like this, they're filtering it in a certain way. Like I think who said they're filtering the chart? Abby. So like Abby's probably looking at something like this, right? Just go to the heat map settings and then cut out all of this, you know, liquidity in here, and you only are interested in really high liquidity, and you're looking at trading maybe for the day or swing trading in here. Okay, now let's clear our drawings, get them out of the way for a moment, and then let's also look at the volume dot settings. You can also filter the volume dots in here. Again, go to that learning center. There's a section on volume, and we'll answer these questions. So you can, here, let's just filter it so that you guys can see the chart as well. There's a clustering filter here, okay, that will kind of works like a one of our CTO, our lead developer, basically said that it is like water droplets. They kind of a bigger puddle of water attracts the smaller droplets to it and it kind of absorbs it. So you'll see it here using this clustering filter. Okay, so you'll see less and less dots. They're kind of smaller trades kind of become part of the bigger pool of water there. That's one way, or you can have it. You can cluster in many different ways in here. This is the smart clustering. You can have it on none. You can also use volume, minimum traded size, and minimum displayed volume in here. Okay, so for example, if we use this, and you'll start to see like less and less transactions are displayed in here. Now, this is the ES. There's going to be quite a few in here. So let's just continue on in here, and we'll get to a point where it's more helpful. Right? This is looking better, right? Okay. So maybe this is something Abby's looking at here. I know a lot of traders that are using a view like this. Okay, and then they're looking for double-digit points in some of these moves in here, and then looking for that follow through. Okay, so look at the volume in here. Right, there's a lot of volume up in here, but look at here. Sellers came in at the around 8:30, and we've come back up here and we haven't gone through that yet. Okay, so maybe on your higher time frame, you're seeing more buyers in here. Okay, so let's go through a couple scenarios in here. Number one scenario is basically we just see more buying in here, right? All the selling is kind of at these lows. There's some selling here. Okay, so number one scenario is like this is a pullback and we're looking for a continuation back up to 4,400. And this is in this view and this volume setting, this is a low volume pullback so far. It's pretty choppy. All right, so what you would be looking for in this scenario for the buy side, well, I don't know, maybe you're a trend line trader as well, and you're looking for this to hold. And then what you're looking for is buyers to start to come in here. And you're looking for your big green dots in here to trade up not only to this swing here around 93 or 94. You'd probably get a bit of a pullback, but then you'd look for continuation on up to 4,400. Okay, that would be one scenario. The other scenario would be all of this buying in here. You're looking for a trap, and you're looking for not this support here to be broken, right? And then you're looking for the sellers to drive it pretty quickly, actually, and all these buyers to get stopped out, and they're going to drive it down into maybe 43.80. Okay, and you'd be looking at out of these two scenarios in here, maybe you'd be looking at yeah, one of them to play out here. Okay, so look at the sellers starting to come in now. Okay, so on this time frame, it looks pretty good. How would you manage this? How would you do this? Okay, well, this would be basically somewhere down in here. Maybe you look for a pullback, and then a retest and more selling down here. That would probably be the higher likelihood or probable move here. But we do have a lot of buying in here that's upended at the moment. Okay, so maybe you look for a pullback here and you may miss it. Okay, and maybe that's your entry here. And then you're looking for a rotation down here. And you can even have a tight stop on that. Okay, and then you're looking for your rotation down here and then the continuation into basically 80. Okay, yeah, the swing, there's liquidity down here at 85. But this is another way to look at it. Okay. And the question is, like, are you going to wait for a pullback, or are you going to miss it? Maybe that's up to you. That's the mindset thing. That fear of missing out. How do you deal with that? Here's a possible consideration would be to maybe you get in half your position here, and you're looking for a pullback, and half a position up here. Okay. So that's another possibility, and then you're looking for this to roll over and continue on lower. Right. So now just make sure that is half a position. You're not doubling your risk on this setup here. All right. So let's see. Questions, and then we'll look at the NQ. Sorry, slow down. Get there. Yeah, larger players are dictating. Well, yeah, anyone who has more influence over the market. Futuristic signature. Yeah, they're gonna have more power to be able to move the market. Yeah, there's another suggestion in here by Alan IM. That you can, if you want to just get the global plus lifetime, that's possible, and you would still have data costs. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. Yeah, and then Abby's kind of confirming that. So that's a possible way. Then you've got Bookmap for life, and all future updates or inversions are included in that, which is really nice. Yeah, Thinkorswim has a free version of Bookmap. It's not really I mean, it's very good. I like it. I've played around with it. There's a lot of functionality that is not included, so you have to be aware of that. Okay, the beauty is there's no data costs. The drawbacks are it's DX feed data. That's the data that they use, and you're not getting MBO data. That's a really nice add-on in Bookmap that we think offers a lot of edge to understand that. All right, guys. So look at this. Let's see if we get our sellers here. If we do, I'm looking for the break into 85, low of the day. We'll see what happens down here. That would be probably, even on a higher time frame, wouldn't be a bad area to maybe take some off. I know that's only 3 points for a higher time frame, but look at today, right? It hasn't been it's been really kind of back and forth in here. Oh, okay. You don't like it, BBM? Yeah. Well, then I would suggest this with the Thinkorswim version. Try it out. See if you like it. If you have a Thinkorswim account or Schwab account or whatever it is these days, then maybe at the same moment or the next month, then try the Bookmap desktop version and see what you like better. All right, guys. Let's see. NQ. Let's take a look. Sorry, slow down. We're getting there. And I got to catch up with the questions over here. I think I've answered your question, Hector. I'm so bad. Welcome back. Cool. What did you see in here? This is really cool. Yeah. Let's just check this out. I love this kind of stuff in here. Well, obviously it's an algo. I mean, there's no question about that. Look at how mechanical this is. There's a seller, and then it's countered with a buyer. There's a seller countered with a buyer, and then it kind of switches over in time here, which is really interesting. The buyers start to come in before the sellers. This might be then. I would speculate. Now I'm just speculating here. That maybe this is someone getting out of their short position, and then they're starting to get into maybe a long position. I don't know, or maybe it's two different players battling each other out. I don't know. I mean, we don't know, but it's clearly algos relating to each other here. Really interesting stuff there. And then you've got another one here. I love this stuff. Oh, this is great. Yeah. So yeah, you can see these algos working it back and forth in here. We do have this great video that shows that there's no countering on one of them. So right here, they're countering each other, right? So you can see the, and guys, to get into this kind of minutia, you can get a lot of insight out of this, even for higher time frames. I'm not lying to you. I'll show you a video in here that's amazing. It was our CTO that found this. Again, we can go to the Learning Center, and I think I've got it in there. Bookmap.com, more, and then Learning Center. And then we're going to go down to not the Getting Started course or Market Mechanics course, which I recommend highly. Go to the order flow phenomena area here, and then we're going to look at ES algo buying activity video. Here is this one. I'll share it for you guys. I'll share this link in YouTube and in Discord, and it's amazing. This was, you can go back in time and look at it in the chart if you want. This is the start of a massive move. It was multi-day move to the upside in the ES. It is conspicuous buying by an algo. And the interesting thing was it's an aggressive algo. It is buying on the best offer, and consistently at small rates, but highly consistent. They're accumulating by not waiting in the order book. And they're like buy, market buy, market buy, market buy. And they were able to get a lot on without moving it much against them. Look for that kind of behavior. Okay, that can give you insight. If you're on top of that kind of behavior, you could have held for multiple days. And so thanks for sharing this in here. Good stuff to take a look at and cover. Now this truly is getting into micro structure here. All right, this is the true definition of what microstructure is. Okay, so just wanted to cover that with you guys. So we want to be very consistent with what's going on in here. This isn't really microstructure here, until you get sub-second. Okay, now you're looking at more microstructure. All right. Anyway, all right. Look at our move here. Oh, this is Nasdaq. Sorry, guys. A quick move back here. All right, this was we covered this scenario and this setup for a higher time frame move. Half in this area in here, half in here, half out down here. All right. Trade management. All right, on this here, yeah, could be at break even, or you could have it up higher if you're looking for this continuation here. All right, so anyway, Nasdaq. Let's see. Wow, this is just a mess in here. Very similar, strong down move here. And an equal high up here. This is looking great for the breakout yet again. Same ideas. as the ES, and they just couldn't do it. Couldn't get up to 15,100 here. And then you see the sellers come in. Now, if you had gotten in this and you're maybe looking for that equal high up here, take some off, or maybe you're in it and you start to see this here, like, you know, just get stopped out and look for the next one. You know, get good at taking a loss. We have expectations, or our scenario is more likely here due to the buying pressure and the break here that it would go higher. When we zoomed in, we saw why it didn't. Okay, we also on the NASDAQ you have this liquidity getting filled, and this liquidity starting to trade or getting tested. And then here you see the buying, lack of buying. It's a hard one. And they just pull, the sellers pull it away here on the micro or on the smaller structure here. I'm looking for support down here as a good area for support, and we're not seeing much. Sellers cut through it. Now this is where we can see support turns into resistance, or resistance, I'm sorry, turns into support, and then it turns into resistance here. Okay. So that concept is nicely covered in here. Okay, and then what else do we see here? Well, the move continues. Buyers try again, but this is where the sellers came in and took control. Well, actually, it's here. We don't get back up there. This just rolled over again, and here is slow down. And then you see that selling pressure at the bottom edge here, right? Maybe a pullback and then a continuation here. Yeah, we've already tested down here. No, we have not tested down here again. I'm looking for the sellers to test it down here. Okay, so looking at 15,000, the figure here in NASDAQ. That would be my number one scenario. It looks like we're getting a pullback in here. And let's just take a look at the aggressors in here. More sellers here, clearly. Buying, trying to get back up above it, trying again here, and they failed again. All right, so yeah, now if when we zoom in here, if we get sellers at this bottom edge in here, right here, I'm looking for them to take it down. Okay, first test here at 08, and then the second is the figure. All right, was the order book telling us? Well, not too much. Kind of coming in here at 8. See if we get it. And I'd like to see these guys at 8 pull, actually. No, we're not getting it. No. Still looking for it though. Maybe just it pulls back here, and then we've seen this move a million times. You will get this cluster here that gets upended. Okay. So we can wait and watch for that. Watch for the sellers below here. Okay, right in here is where we want to look for them. Right, and then the move. Okay, so this would be kind of the little bit of a fuel here to the fire, right? Okay, I'm looking for that. My mindset is looking for that. I would miss the move to this 28 level. Okay, because I'm looking for sellers down here. That's fine. I'm not flexible enough to look for that move to 28. I'm aware of it, but I'm not looking for it. I'm set up for this one right now. All right, well, that's what I got, and still not giving up on it. Still looking at the 17.5 level, and you can even look for the same concept and same idea for more of kind of a potential range bound trade. Would be here. Okay, this would be a failure here of buying. Same idea, same concept, and then sellers here. And we're not getting that one either yet. We might, right? Look for your red dots here, and then they'll pull it down to maybe test here to begin with at 17, our 12, and our 8 level. Okay, and then 15,000 the figure. All right, anyway, that's what I got for you. Slow down. And let's see anyone else here. No. All right. All right, guys. Well, yeah, thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Hit the like button, please. We're trying to do trying to cover as much as we can for you guys in here. We're going to be covering a lot more in the near future. And I have some really interesting additions coming in this third quarter that I can't wait to extend to you guys. So hang in there, and we will see you on Monday. All right. Yeah. Take care. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye bye.